We're back here on the morning show, and a big thanks to one of our key sponsors, Grand Mountain Bank, your hometown bank, 4 locations in Grand County. Definitely check them out. They're a huge sponsor of our show, and a big thanks to them. One of our main guests today is going to be Megan Ledin, the Executive Director of the Grand Foundation, our community foundation that does a great job of raising money for nonprofits.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for being on the show again. You've been on before, and it's always great to hear what's going on. You guys do a wonderful service to our community. So,
thank you. You know, you alluded that we raise money for nonprofits. It's a good time to say that we do so much more than that. We help individuals indirectly through all of our various donor advised funds.
What does donor advised fund mean?
Sure. What a donor advised fund is that an individual, a foundation, or a corporation doesn't want to administer and facilitate funds or money on their own to distribute grants out. So we take care of that for them. We take the funds in, don't commingle them, and then we award them out in their name on the mission that they've given to us.
Oh, okay. So they can kind of give you some guidance of where they'd like the money to go to, and then you can...
Absolutely. You know, one of the largest ones with summer coming around is our GAP Fund for Youth, which the acronym is Grand Activities and Programs. We created it in partnership about 6 years ago with the Winter Park Fraser Valley Chamber. And basically that money that we raise at the bars, at the concerts in the summer,
yep,
are for kids in our community to help subsidize for extracurricular activities, things that they wouldn't normally be able to do.
So we're talking like a kid that might want to play football and his parents can't afford the activity fees?
Absolutely. You know, being Winter Park, we have a huge contingency of skiers.
Yep.
So competition center fees can be high.
And that is not cheap, yeah.
In an Olympic year too, you know, these things go up, so their parents need help. So we're there to help them. In the last 6 years, we've awarded almost $300,000 out of this fund.
$300,000, and that's just for the GAP Fund?
Correct, and we get those funds by getting volunteers to run the bars at all the festivals in the summer that are done over at Hideaway
Park. It's a great network of volunteers. You see a lot of local faces and people. It's always a lot of fun. It looks like they're having a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun, you know. We just get together and do a good thing for the community. And with our partnership, Jeremy Kennel, Catherine Ross, they do a great job at helping us get this money for our community.
We have a wonderful city park that hosts a lot of these events as well.
Absolutely, and I'd be remiss to say the town of Winter Park's not a huge part of that as well. So
now you do a lot with nonprofits, as we talked about. How many nonprofits would be in town?
You know, I think it can vary on where you look and who you talk to. But since we aren't governed by just giving to 501c3 organizations, we always tout that we have over 188 nonprofits and or service club organizations in Grand County. So it's kind of a daunting task to be able to go, okay, you have all of these organizations to give to. Well, we only have so many businesses and individuals in our community, so if every nonprofit went to each of them, it can be hard. I still encourage them, they should still be doing that, but our objective is to help alleviate some of that pressure from the businesses and the individuals. So we raise our money to give out grants to them.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just an amazing foundation. You guys have several events throughout the year. Right now it's summertime, so we have lots of concerts. And what's the affiliation? I know some concerts you'll see volunteers and Grand Foundation a part of. Some are, I don't know if they're run by the Chamber or private.
Well, majority of the concerts at Hideaway Park are run by the Chamber. One that isn't is the Grand County Blues Society. It's one of our separate nonprofits in Grand County. They do a fantastic job themselves. You might see me there every year. I volunteered the last 13 years for that event myself. So not only do we solicit volunteers, we also encourage all of our staff and our board to volunteer for other nonprofits.
For the other nonprofits to help support the nonprofit without...
I don't think that any nonprofit in our community could really survive without the core base of volunteers, whether it be maintaining a trail or managing a bar and an event or what have you. That's huge. And so volunteers are a huge part of what nonprofits are and what they can do as a result of having them.
And our year-round population on this end of the county is not, I mean, we don't have a huge population here, so the amount of volunteers and the amount of recurring volunteers is just wonderful to see.
Absolutely. You know, I think there's been challenges over the years with nonprofits because of that number or lack thereof of individuals in our community. You know, we've been trying to alleviate that issue. We've been working with the Grand County Economic Development Office in collaborating and creating a website, grandvolunteers.org. And it actually is up and live now, and we're going to start going around in the community and training nonprofits. It's going to be one centralized location in which nonprofits can go on, fill out everything about their nonprofit, link it to their website, but they can also list all of the events So people can go directly to that website that want to volunteer for an event or a nonprofit, and they can pick and choose.
Oh, how incredible. What a cool middleman, basically. So if I would like to volunteer, I can go grandvolunteers.org, and all the different opportunities are right there.
Right now, a little bit in its infancy state. People need to start getting on, and that's our responsibility to go out there and train them and show them how. But what that'll do is that it'll be hosted, or the link will be hosted on the Grand County website, the Tourism Board, the Chamber's website, so that even just a second homeowner coming into town that wants to help and support our community can go there as well.
Oh, how great. And so if they go to the Chamber site, they can link right over to the grandvolunteers.org.
Yeah, I will tell you that this summer alone, we have had 940 volunteer slots to fill with all the concerts that we are helping with, and we have 46 spots left to fill out of the 940. 900. And that website has been instrumental for us.
Oh, how fantastic. Well, we're going to need to take a quick break here, and we'll come back and talk a little bit more about some of the concerts coming up, and maybe touch on the GAP Fund just a little bit more. Once again, we're talking with the Executive Director of the Grand Foundation, Megan Ledin, and as always, a big thanks to Grand Mountain Bank, your hometown bank with 4 locations. We'll be back shortly.
Grand Mountain Bank is the only locally owned and operated bank in Grand County, and with 4 locations to serve you, we're in all the right places.